Hi everybody, I'm Butch Stearns here at our Health IT Insight Summit at the Harvard Club in Boston, joined now by Keith Salzman, who is the CMIO of CACI.
Yes, sir.
You've got some serious acronyms going there.
I have a few more,
Keith,
but I'll leave it at that.
Talk about CACI. Talk about what you do.
CACI is a defense contractor that started 50 years ago in California, and they've moved into providing systems integration and development services for the government, mostly in defense intelligence, but they've started a healthcare practice about 10 years ago with logisticians from the Air Force, and they've built that into about a $100 million business. Now we're moving into the VELR contract, Virtual Lifetime Electronic Record, for the VA and the DoD, where all the benefits information for service members is available. So Social Security, your home loan, VA home loan benefit, burial benefit, and then healthcare. And so with the healthcare problem facing the country, the DoD and VA both have legacy healthcare records that need to be overhauled. And the plan is to overhaul those and move into an integrated health electronic health record, so that the information shared between the agencies, but also moving towards sharing that information outward, so there's interoperability with the private sector.
When you think about the sharing of medical records and the sharing of data, it's always controversial in the healthcare industry, EMRs and everything that's going on. But then from afar, I think of, the government, the Department of Defense, and I think to myself, well, there's another level of security there. But in our conversation beforehand, you were saying it's surprising to people how much cooperation there is and how much flow of data there really is when it comes to government agencies in the Department of Defense.
Yeah, in the intelligence communities, they've kind of done this similar to your paradigms in finance or telephone technology. Defense intelligence has a lot of different agencies, and they've had to share information. The same thing's happening in healthcare, where that barrier of thinking that you own the data and that the data is more important for you to keep and hide rather than share. Now, the evidence is coming out that the more that you make that data transparent, the better care you can deliver, both on a population basis, but also in continuity of caring for a patient that moves between systems.
Talk about what we talked about off air, about how the trend-setting things that the VA has actually done.
Well, both DoD and VA started on a MUMPS-based platform, and they're the same, CHCS and VISTA. And what the VA did was allowed their providers to design the system. So they adopted it readily because they designed it. One of the problems in facing the EHR product is that, one, it hasn't been transformed to meet the business. So business transformation hasn't really been done well with electronic health records. The other is that when you design something, that you have to have it integrated across your system, so it's not an instance here, like there's 108 instances of VISTA, or 128 instances of VISTA. And so to try to reconverge those so that they talk together is a challenge. What's been done in both the Department of Defense and the VA with their health records is they've been merged to be able to communicate together, and there's a legacy infrastructure that has to be overcome to upgrade that. But I think it's a model for how the country should be exchanging information within their organization as well as externally to other healthcare organizations.
Final question. Here we are at our Health IT Summit. I want to ask you about what you've heard that's either been eye-opening for you so far or reinforced some of the things that you thought of. We're here in day one. We're not even halfway through our Health IT Insight Summit. We've got 2 days of panels, keynotes. Anything that's stuck out in your mind so far?
Well, the information that the gentleman from Beckwith, Gary Barnett brought was pretty interesting to look at. There's some principles there of accomplishing tasks with intelligence rather than kind of lumbering on with the same approach. And so I think his input was refreshing. England has a lot of challenges with socialized medicine, and they've been trying to get a national health record for years and have spent a lot of money, and they're starting to get a national backbone. So they've piloted some problems. So I think the thing that he talked about offline was, herding the cats. And he said if you have a pound of tuna and a big dog, you can, so incentives and enforcement, then you can make things happen. And I think that's what's facing the healthcare industry, is getting over that hurdle of incentives and penalties or enforcement that will bring people together to get on the solution rather than allowing an inefficient system to perpetuate.
Right. Gary should be a little more passionate about what he talks about too, right?
Yeah.
Keith, nice talking to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Thanks for the conversation. Thanks. He's Keith Salzman from CICA here at HealthIT Insight Summit 2012.